Hi, this is Brian Pash, and welcome to another exciting podcast interview. I am so glad to welcome back to the show Bob Lettis from 700 Credit. Bob, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Brian, and looking forward to next week in Arizona at the DMSC.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have the largest turnout of any of our conferences, so we're really excited. You know, Bob, you've been on the show for years preaching about credit first, credit first, credit first. Give consumers the ability to know what they can afford, use that data to present vehicles that are in their affordability range, and to make it easier for people to buy a car. But, you know, a lot has changed. And the other day, I just saw something on X, a video that shows how easy it is now for AI tools to create a fake driver's license or a passport. And it brings up the latest educational message that you're bringing to dealers, that even before credit first, dealers should be taking a mindset of fraud first at a high level. What do you mean by that?
Well, absolutely, Brian. It's this. With so much of the sales process starting online, and with the fraudsters out there, they're so far advanced now than they were 10 years ago even. It makes it very, very important that you're protecting yourselves and knowing exactly who you're talking to instantly upfront in the process. We've been pushing a credit first process for years and telling everybody, pre-qual, get that live credit data up front. But what's the point if you're getting the pre-qual data up front if you're not talking to the real person? It could be a fake identity, it could be a synthetic identity or an AI bot. So the key is, whether it's online or in store, what you want to be able to do is make sure that you've identified that person as a real customer so that you could start the journey in a safe mode.
So let's talk about just historically. Dealers have had paper deal jackets. We know that with the 2022 safeguard rule, these paper jackets become a liability. Bob, as you're talking to dealers about securing and validating customer data, what do you tell them to do with all this paper that's hanging around, which, well, really is valuable for identity theft and people who are trying to scam consumers?
Well, as we know, paper is a thing of the past from the deal jacket standpoint. Digital is where everything is going. Digital is where we want you to move. Digital is where the safeguards is guiding us to go for a more secure sales process. So the key thing is getting it away from paper in a paper file that's just laying there and waiting for someone to get their hands on it. We've had many cases, even this. I go back and I give this example, Brian. If you go back 15 years ago, we had credit reports, paper credit reports in boxes. People would have whole rooms filled with credit reports. And what happened? They were getting stolen. That was valuable data. And all it takes is one bad person at a dealership to make everything go bad. So what we did as an industry, we cleaned that up, and we instructed and trained and educated to not having paper credit reports around. So we're doing the same thing now with the paper file jackets and getting them into digital. We've had instances even where fraudsters have broken into a dealership, and they didn't break in to steal a car. They broke in looking for the paper file jackets, because those paper file jackets have everything you need. They've got social securities, they've got driver's licenses, they got pictures, they've got information on that customer that they can use and create fake identities. And that's much more valuable down the road than just picking up a vehicle alone. But why? But why not protect yourself from both protecting your vehicles as well as your data? And that's what having this information in the deal jacket and having products like a driver's license scanning verification system will do for you.
So let's talk about that. I honestly, I have not been speaking enough about fraud and risk management with dealers and their data. I've been talking a lot about CDPs, organizing the data. But our podcast interview today kind of reminded me like, man, we got to start adding some security discussions around data storage and management. Let's start with the driver's license. How is 700 credit helping dealers make sure that when someone's online or someone's in the store showing a photo of a driver's license or scanning their driver's license, what is your tech doing to try to sniff out fraud?
A good question, Brian. And here's the thing. Almost every dealer I know has some type of driver's license scanner, but that's all it is a driver's license scanner. And the
Right.
problem with the old fashioned driver's license scanners was they weren't working. They weren't protecting against fraud.
Right.
Okay. And they aren't updating the information or the way that they're scanning those driver's licenses. So with that, what we've been able to create is not just a driver's license scanner, it's an ID verification process. It's an all-in-one where we're using multiple databases and multiple protection pieces for the dealer. We're not just scanning the driver's license front and back. We're taking facial recognitions front and side. We're doing DMV protection. We're doing synthetic fraud, regular fraud. So we're doing multiple components all at one time, instantaneously, to protect that dealer up front so that when they start the process, they know exactly that they're talking to a legitimate person.
Love that. And Bob, since again, this is a new topic for me, and maybe there are many dealers here who might not have a current threat or risk assessment for every, dealer that you're working with. How often are you catching people who are trying to fraudulently purchase a car? Is it every month is a dealer sniffing out some scam artists trying to steal from the dealer?
Well, we know this, and you've talked to thousands of dealers, and so have I over the years. I can't think of any dealer that I know of in the industry that hasn't lost a car or had some type of fraud happen upfront in their sales process.
That's right.
So we know it happens on a continual basis. We know we can't stop everything, but what we do know is the dealers that are using a tool like 700 Credit has upfront in the process, it is catching the fraudsters.
Got
Okay.
it.
I don't have the stats to tell you exactly what percentage or how many each day that are out there that we're able to catch. But literally, we have over 22,000 dealers at 700 Credit. So I know our product is out there in thousands of dealers today. And it's just a matter that we know it's working. We hear it from our dealers. And it's a very, very inexpensive way to protect yourself upfront in the process, whether it's online or in store.
Love it. And Bob, you're integrated right directly with like Reynolds, CDK. So the information that you're collecting or pulling is always being directly injected into the DMS deal, right?
Absolutely. One of the things that's catapulted 700 Credit success over the last 10 years is the fact that not only do we have over 22,000 dealers, which is about 70% of the market, we've also spent a lot of time integrating all the DMSs, the CRMs, the digital lead companies, equity mining companies. We've got integrations with about 250 software providers. So when it comes to deal jackets, which is usually done in the DMS, or fraud protection, driver's license scanners, which is done up front with the CRMs, we have integrations with those. So people like CDK and Reynolds, have exclusive and special integrations with us that make things automatic, as well as we're now integrating our product into the major CRMs so that it makes it for the dealer. They don't have to really go out and do anything on their end. With the integrations are going to be there to support the dealer to make their processes easy and simple and at a low cost.
Maybe dealers also don't know, but your product is also integrated in a lot of online retailing tools, right? I mean, they may not know it as 700 credit, right? But you're powering a lot of decisioning in today's modern digital retailing and credit pre-approval tools, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Companies like Carnow, the Roadsters, Gubagoo, you've got all of these online tools, Auto Trader that are out there. We power a lot of these with our soft pull data, and now they're reaching out to us, and we're in discussions with many of them on our driver's license ID verification process as well, because they know that it's all needed. So the DMSs, the CRMs, the digital retailing tools, they're going to use this in a multitude of ways with our credit data as well as our compliance protection.
Love it. Love that. And you know what I said earlier, I mean it. When you see how quickly, I mean, I don't know, there's a latest trend where everyone's making little bubble pack toys of themselves, or I don't know, making better headshots of themselves. It's amazing, like in seconds, how photorealistic imagery, fake stamps on passport pages. I mean, it's nuts how accurate things can be. And I think dealers need to understand as we move to more and more digital first transactions, it's still not the highest percentage, but a lot of things are starting online. Man, dealers need to take data security seriously. Bob, you work with dealers directly, you work with systems integrators. Those who are listening in say, man, I want to see how this new driver's license authentication technology is working. What's the best way for them to reach out to you to, schedule a demo, talk about pricing?
Well, first of all, the good thing is a good majority of the dealers are already 700 credit customers. So they should have their regular salesperson that they talk to, and they could easily just pick up the phone, call 700 credit. If they can't remember who that salesperson is, somebody will get them to their correct 700 credit rep, and simply just ask to know a little bit more about our quick scan product and the ID verification process and our protection process that we offer. And the best thing is, for dealers to know, this is not something that's going to cost them thousands of dollars. Literally, the cost on this is less each month than what a dealer would spend on a pizza party at their
I,
store.
I love
and
that.
and the beauty of it is this: with 700 credit, we know it works, and we want the dealer to feel comfortable and not worry about taking a risk and spending money that they don't need on a product that won't work for them. We offer a 60-day free trial on this quick stamp product. So there is no reason that a dealer shouldn't try it. There's no reason that a dealer has for any monetary risk. You get a full 60-day free trial on it. And at the end of that 60 days, we don't have many dealers that ever cancel that product at that point.
I love it. There's so many products that dealers do take risk on, Bob. And this, well, obviously, the fact you have 22,000 dealers, you're doing the right thing. This is a no brainer, especially as synthetic fraud and just the sophistication of digital fraud. I mean, I see some of the commercials now, Bob, where they're telling you, "Hey, be careful that people don't try to put a lien on your property or steal your deed out from underneath you." I'm like, wow, they're getting that good that people who have property maybe that they're not paying attention to all of a sudden gets transferred out of their name. It is serious business today.
It's very serious business, Brian. And here's one stat that all of the auto dealers and ownership should be aware of. Uh, Fraud in the automotive industry is now over $9 billion. Okay. So even if we could cut that down 20%, that's huge.
Right.
That's billions of dollars. So the key thing is this: auto is one of the biggest areas that they're preying on because, as usual, we're a little bit behind other industries out there. And we've just made it easy for these fraudsters to step into automotive and rob us blind. And products like the quick scan product that are trying to stop this process of fraud at the beginning is what's going to help stop the thing. So it's just a matter of the industry being aware, knowing how how much fraud is out there today and how it's not going to go away until we step up as an industry and show these fraudsters that we're taking it seriously and we're building these protections in to protect our businesses.
I love it. Well, you heard it here direct from Bob. For years, he's been educating dealers. Look, why not set some expectations at the beginning of a transaction with a credit first mindset, giving consumers viable options and also loading up the talk tracks for your salespeople to have a better retail experience. And now he's taking it one step further. Before you start having a conversation about payments, price, and exchanging data and details, let's make sure that this person you're dealing with is the person that their ID states. And I love the 60-day free trial on the Quick Scan platform. So, dealers, what are you waiting for? Head over to 700 Credits website, call your local sales rep, or, well, just come over to Bob at the Digital Marketing Strategies Conference in Arizona. That's April 27, 28, 29. We can't wait to have this conference at this new location. And now for the foreseeable future, we'll be in Scottsdale. So, dealers, if you're hearing this podcast this week before the conference starts, it's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. It's not too late to get a ticket and come out to today's most advanced digital marketing, technology, and first party data activation and security minded conference. You should be at DMSC. And if this is the first time you're listening to one of my podcast interviews, there are hundreds of conversations with dealers, entrepreneurs, tech leaders, and security experts like Bob, helping dealers improve automotive retail. So just search for the Brian Pash Podcast on your favorite podcast player and listen in to the great conversations. Hey, Bob, thanks for coming back on. Thanks for being a sponsor of Dealer Education. And I look forward to seeing you down in Arizona.
Thank you, Brian. Look forward to seeing you next week at the show.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening in. And I'll see you next time on another podcast interview.